Good news, everybody. Today, we get a new pack. Why? Because it's the end of the month. My opponent can get up to 3. Okay. Turtle Oath, Horn of Light, Snake Fang, Spear Cretin, Tomato, Nuzzler, Snail, Minar, and Slot Machine. The first of the 3 legendary duelists to leave my deck. Jo no Chikatsuya, which means that now this is the current side deck. Mushroom Man number 2. Boar Soldier. Blast Juggler. Kotodama. Grand Majida Aiza. Hayabusa Knight. Torpedo Fish. Drill Bug. Little Chimera. Bite Shoes. Horn of Light. Attack and Receive. DNA Surgery. Solomon's Law Book. And Ray of Hope. Now I need to find a way to add these 2, Snake Fang and Malevolent Nuzzler. So what can I take out? Okay, Gokutsuma Maid is completely dead in this deck. We don't need that. Ancient Lizard Warrior will get the axe. So it's 4 cards for 4 cards. Normally this will be done separately, but since this is a new month and the deck has changed significantly, I figured I may as well explain the changes. So as you can see, we have added the Snake Fang to the deck for the trap lineup, which now gives us a way to out bigger defense position monsters, because Snake Fang at the damage step will decrease defense position by 500. For the magic cards, we added Malevolent Nuzzler, otherwise known as Demon's Kiss. And it's just another generic equip spell. However, unlike Stim Pack, it's genuinely just a power creep version. The only reason Stim Pack is still in the deck is because I haven't found anything better to replace it with. We're still rocking the same 3 field spell lineup and 1 drag down for the draw power. I don't know about Tower of Babel if I want to keep that, but for this episode it's going to be in the deck. Now, for the monster lineup, there's 1 card that sticks out like a sore thumb, and that's the OCG version of Black Magician Girl. My co-host and I will elaborate on this further, but let's just say that we have Gentleman's Agreement 1 card for the sake of fan service. I'm playing a lot of monsters. 27 monsters I think is too many monsters. The only reason it's still good is because it allows us to consistently drop monsters on the field. So in a way, you can look at it like this. The monsters are lands in MTG. You want to consistently be able to place 1 land, but you also want to draw a steady flow of cards so that you can still play your spells. Now, obviously, these are 2 very different games, but that's the way I am basing my construction curve. Outside of Tyhone, unless you have an effect, the monsters need at least 1400 to even stay in the deck. The only reason Tyhone is still in the deck is because I don't have a 3rd wind monster, because Sylphid is still in the deck, and Sylphid is a card that will give me access to a hand rip should that come into it, and it's also a free special summon, which we do not have lots of those. Spear Cretin will act as this deck's Monster Reborn, so now I can discard Blue Eyes White Dragon, Sun God of Thunder, Black Magician, or Despair from the Dark with impunity with Wicked Flamberge Bow, or with Drag Down. And while it does give him access to a strong monster, his deck does not discard as much as mine does. And one neat thing I found that you can do with the Killer Tomato is, if it's a Sharp Battle and you have a bunch of monsters in your graveyard already, you can just special summon the Chaos Necromancer as 0 attack points, and then boom, it shoots up immediately, no activation. So if it's late game and he destroys the Killer Tomato, I'm just gonna summon effectively something between a Dark Magician Girl and a Blue Eyes on rip. Now, the other targets for it aren't very good. We have Armored Zombie, which is up here in case we're in the early game, but I don't ever want to do that. That's just a way to maintain board presence so that I can get into my Tribute Summons from Hell. Or I could, if I'm running low, just use the Spear Cretin to jump block and deck thin a little bit, but I don't like that idea at all. Otherwise, the deck strategy should remain the same, but since we've added some new cards, we get more variety, and I think this will be a much more fun episode.
Great, everyone, Muk854 here, and back again here with Miguel as we continue our new Yu-Gi-Oh series of all School Sluggers. We open packs in Duel out. So, this is the last match for March. We opened 3 new packs of our choosing, and we made some changes to our deck. I hopefully got some better cards that I can use this time.
Me personally, I opened 1 Magic Ruler pack, and I'm going to say I think I still pulled better.
Probably. Oh, and probably, in case you can tell, behold, I actually got sleeves.
Finally!
I will be going second, so you go first.
Alright then. Remember, you draw going first. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Draw face. Monster in defense mode. I'm placing one card face down.
Neobug, and then Neobug will attack your face down.
You attacked my Kotetsu effect activates on flip. It allows me to add one equip spell from my deck to my hand. Malevolent Nuzzler.
Pass.
Pale Beast. Equip him with Malevolent Nuzzler to give him 700 attack points. I attack for 22. It's your move.
Then a monster and my turn.
I'll set a card face down, and I'll normal summon Dark Zebra. Then I discard Bombardment Beetle to activate Wicked Breaking Flamberge Vow, equipping my Dark Zebra. Have Dark Zebra attack your face down for 23. Pale Beast will attack for 22. Your move.
Got an end.
Lord Poison. I'll have Dark Zebra attack your face down. 15 with Lord Poison. And 22 with Pale Beast. Face. Time seal.
10 and
23 on your set and then game.
ready.
Okay.
Alright, people, game 2. I'll go first this time.
Okay.
Dark Elf in attack mode. Set a card, and then my turn.
I draw 2 cards. And then I'll put a monster in defense mode. Your move.
I summon Neobug. Neobug will attack your face down.
You attack into my Kotetsu, so I search Nuzzler.
Attack with Dark Elf, giving away 1,000 of my life points. I end my turn.
Yakugere Panda. He gains 500 attack points for each monster on your side of the field, so he's currently gaining 1,000, so he's currently at 1,800. Activate Malevolent Nuzzler, targeting my panda, giving him an additional 700, so he's currently at 2,500. I enter my battle phase. I attack Dark Elf. Because Dark Elf has left the field, my panda drops down to 2,000. End phase. Your turn.
Okay. Switch Neobug to defense. Set down a monster and my turn.
Dark Zebra. Then I'll discard a card for
This is literally the same game!
attack Neobug. Panda does piercing, so you'll take 800. And then Zebra will attack your set with 23. Your move.
Got a call game right now.
Okay. Time for story time. So,
Well, we don't have much to talk about, so we're just gonna talk about the next season of Yu-Gi-Oh! We're talking about DX now.
alright, let's make this easier. You do season 1 and 2, I do 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, you may begin.
Hang on. Yeah. Okay, so Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was basically as you can tell, the sequel to the original Duel Monster anime, and it took things quite a turn. Now we're following a new protagonist, Jaden, and as he goes through Yu-Gi-Oh! Academy, which is basically a Duelist Academy, run by none other than Kaiba himself. And you know it's him because they made the Cypher students the least important students. Guys, biased to tell you. Anyway, first season, it was a pretty interesting, it was a pretty alright start. We see Jaden gain a couple things during his classes. He gets in some duels here and there. The main thing with GX is that this focus on a gimmick, but one we already knew, it focused on fusion. Okay, Jaden was always fusing. His elemental heroes were some of my favorite archetypes, and him fusing them all together to make new ones, it was always pretty cool to see elemental heroes. So it was always cool seeing him and all that. And then the story was pretty interesting. In the first season, but there were some episodes that were just like episodic, didn't connect much. It did revolve around the return of the Sacred Beast, the bootleg Egyptian god, if we can call him.
Bootleg God, that sounds like a crazy name.
True. Anyways, they're all about trying to stop people from getting the pieces they need to summon them or whatever. But in the end, of course, they failed, and they came, and Jaden still won. And then the main villain was redeemed. Get used to this. The first 2 seasons, the bad guys actually kind of get redeemed.
Dude, you just skipped through, I think, 55 episodes in 2 sentences.
Well, it's hard to, but like, okay, look, like I said, most of the episodes were episodic. It didn't really connect much. Like you had the beginning episode where he went up against Carly, I think his name is
Yeah, Crawler or Kronos de
Prowler.
Medici.
Yeah, him with that freaking weird
Yeah,
chest duel disc.
it's called the Dual
Then you
Blazer.
have dual blazer, whatever. Then you have him. They're like doing Alexis because why were they there again?
Because she thought he was peeping on the women's restroom.
Right there. But then you get episodes that are just some weird nonsense. Like he had to fight. He went up a duel against a pirate. Clearly, I misremember stuff.
Okay, more accurately, it's 7 stars. It's not season 2. It's 7 stars arc.
You're right. So, season 1 was quite interesting. Like I said, Sacred Beast and such, yada yada. Was the first season the one where he played Dog Magician Girl? That second season.
That's the first season.
Okay, yeah. And add also an interesting episode where he actually dueled against the actual Dog Magician Girl, like just straight up, her spirit or whatever. But oh wait, there is one thing. One arc I remember in the first one, the Chaz arc.
Oh, when he went to North Academy? Yeah.
Yeah. So the rival of the season was Chaz. He was always your typical rival, stuck up, always full of himself and such. Eventually, it got to the point where Chaz was so tired of losing to Jaden that he just ran away and somehow made it to, what was it, the North Pole? Was that the North Pole? Or just North?
He took a boat to a place called North Academy. It was not the North Pole.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, basically Chaz, he was determined to get revenge, so he left Duel Academy and went to North Academy to get stronger, which he inadvertently did, but also revealed that he can also see dueling spirits, which introduced Ojama Yellow, a character I kind of found annoying at first.
The English dub didn't help.
Yeah, exactly. The Ojamas were an interesting archetype, especially that thing.
I mean, to be fair, the Ojamas were the precursor to Kashtira. The whole deck was a zone lock deck.
Right. Anyways, he was all about North Academy is kind of ruthless. Like he had to go through like a whole snow place just to find cards that were abandoned to make a deck.
Are you looking up a summary online?
No, something else.
Oh.
I'm literally trying to remember everything by memory. And then he wasn't eventually able to go inside, and then somehow faced a whole bunch of duels at once and still won. Chaz was kind of on par, and then all leading up to the point where he would return to the academy to fight Jaden. And wow, oh boy, he was actually pretty strong. Like his second duel against Jaden, no, his third duel against Jaden was a pretty epic one, especially with the Armed Dragon. The Armed Dragon is still cool. I consider that one of my favorites. And Jaden did go do like a whole tough fight, but he did eventually win. And now Chaz returned to Duelist Academy, but is now in Slifer Red, even though he's now wearing a black suit.
Which the English dub says is the fact that he never did his laundry, whereas in the Japanese version, it's the fact that he just got a black jacket.
Wait, really? They just said it was black because he never did laundry?
That's what the English dub said, yes.
That is so stupid. But, anyways, Chaz, he was made by Eric. I mean, he did get better. I still consider the best duel he had was when he went up against his brother. You remember that episode?
Yeah. He activates Painful Choice.
Yeah, I think that was a good one. Basically, his brothers basically were trying to buy off Duelist Academy, and Kaiba made a deal with them that Chaz had to beat him in a duel with using only monsters that had less than 1,000 attack points. Well, they were using crazy strong dragons.
500.
Oh, less than 500?
500.
Less than 500. So yeah, that sounds impossible, right? Well, apparently, Duel Academy is just a well where people just toss away completely cards they think were useless. He went there and got as many as he can. And someone, for some reason, threw away a relinquished.
If you actually
Who
look,
threw away
if you actually look at that well, there's a light and darkness dragon in there.
Okay, why would you throw away a Lion Darkness Dragon?
I don't know.
Why would you throw away a relinquish? Anyways, he got a bunch of weak monsters and was able to make actually a pretty strong deck. And also made some stuff with the Ojamas work, which became a thing for him now, since the Ojamas and Armed Dragon are basically starting to become his main signature cards.
What happened to VWXYZ?
Yeah, we don't see them again after he lost the second one.
That's not true.
Okay, clearly I don't remember. But anyway, Chaz was able to win that whole deck, win against a whole bunch of Dragon with weak monsters. But enough about Chaz. Let's talk about one of the most wasted characters ever in all of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Misawa.
Sebastian, yes. Oh my god, this guy had so much potential. We actually liked him a lot. The first things first, let's see how he was already nerfed. In the opening of the show, you saw him have a fire dragon and a water dragon. We only ever see the water dragon. We never see fire dragon. It does not exist.
Which is a shame.
And the thing with Sebastian, he was a pretty educated duelist, knew how to do stuff. He literally had 6 whole decks on him just to use. The one that we saw him using was his water deck, which used a lot of cards to make that water dragon. I think wasn't that the duel that made Chad leave, or was that someone else?
No. What happened was he loses to Judai with the Chthonian deck. After losing with the Chthonian deck, he then duels against Misawa. He then steals Misawa's primary deck, the Vorse Raider deck featuring Ring of Destruction, throws it into the ocean. So Misawa says, I have another deck on me. They play it out, and then Jun loses. Misawa wins, and then he gets sent to North Academy.
Okay. So yeah, it was in a way it was because of him that he went to North.
Yes.
But anyway, Sebastian clearly that right there with Sebastian having so many decks, he already compelled him to be an interesting character. So we wanted to see more duels with him, right? Then we got his second duel against the Amazon girl, and this is where it all came down for him.
Dude, talk about skipping his second duel.
But that was the second duel. The Amazon was the second girl.
He duels against Judai. He uses Courtesy of the Forbidden Spell to negate Poly for the rest of the duel.
Okay, clearly I don't remember that duel.
And then Judai pulls up with the double fusion. Pay 500 to activate Poly twice.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember that. Apparently to rewatch GX too. I just want to talk about how he was just wasted. Cause look, what happened next? Sebastian dueled against an Amazon girl where why would he dueling her in the first place again?
Because she's one of the people for the 7 stars. She was trying to open the spirit gates in order to revive the sacred beast. And also because Tanya had a thing for him because she thought he was handsome.
Yeah, so this was a story-related thing. Anyways, yeah, they do it against her. He used his Earth deck. He not only did he lose.
By the way, we're finally getting those cards. It took 20 years, but we're finally getting those cards.
Yes, I know. Anyway, he dueled against her with his Earth deck against an Amazon deck. He lost. He not only lost, but apparently because of that loss, he just apparently fell madly in love with her. And now he just lived with her now. Like after this season,
forced to marry her.
Forced to marry her, yes. But then Jaden beat her again for victory. But he still. Am I remembering things wrong?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, I'm sorry. Explain Sebastian then, because clearly I don't remember.
Okay, so what you're missing is that this started because he loses his key for the Sacred Beast to Tanya, but the reason there was no physical pain during the duel is because Tanya said, we're not going to do a game of darkness. Instead, we're going to play for your hand in marriage. And so Misawa loses, and he's forced to get with her. But the thing is, Judai himself wasn't actually dueling to free Bastion. That's an English dub thing. Judai just wanted to make sure she couldn't fight back. And after he beats her, Tanya becomes a tiger. And that frees Sebastian temporarily.
And
that's literally what the story is.
I don't remember, but either way, that picture that like the final duel was Sebastian. We never see him duel again.
That's also not true. He duels Jun again in season 2.
Really don't remember much. Really don't remember much of GX. We're gonna make my segment short. But GX did have some pretty epic duels, especially against the villains. There was, we talked about the Amazon girl, but then there was literally the vampire chick,
Camila.
She was an interesting one. When we saw her, she clearly was a threat. She first beat Crowler, then turned him into a doll who she just tossed away because he wants Crowler. But then later on, she beats who was the strongest character in Duels Academy, Zane. Now, totally you don't know Zane, otherwise he's known as Hell Kaiser.
Wait, he's just known as Kaiser at this point. There's no Hell yet.
Okay, sorry, he's known as Kaiser. He was the strongest for a reason. He played Cyber Deck, which at the time, Cybers was broken. They were awesome. Never underestimate Cybers. The first time he dueled Jason, he basically destroyed them. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. He crushed them. So, clearly you know this guy's good. And then Camila comes and just defeats him. And just takes him away the doll too. So which leaves it up to Jaden, or actually no, the Jaden or Cyrus who beat her.
Okay, so the reason Camila defeats Kaiser is because she said to Kaiser, if you reduce my life points to 0, Sho dies as well. Kaiser, not wanting to do that, basically stopped his turn and allowed Camila to win. He had Camila dead to rights.
Okay, yeah, I need to rewatch GX.
Okay,
God.
Kaiser could have OTK'd her turn 1.
Yeah, I figured. So in other words, Kaiser was basically still unbeatable in first season.
Kaiser got robbed. He deserved that victory.
Yeah, it was true. Then there was. But at this point, I'm gonna think of my favorite duel now because I clearly don't remember the story. There was the episode where he do it against like the Yugi copycat.
So we're going back. Okay.
Okay, dude, I don't remember much. Okay.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Yeah. So basically, in this episode, Yugi's deck was brought over to the academy for people to watch with every card he used except the Egyptian gods. They were not included. And then this kid just decided to just come in and break in, steal the deck, and then play it as Yugi. He went up against Jaden. And I don't look. Am I forgetting stuff again?
He also defeated Sho prior to that.
No. Sho won.
No, he defeated Sho when he was using the copycat Chronos deck. But then when he used the copycat Yugi deck, he defeated Sho.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, basically he was actually pretty good with using Yugi's deck, surprisingly. Okay, I think we're talking about that season 1, so let's go to the end of season 1. Because I don't remember much, except for this. The end of season 1, the Ride of the Sacred Beast. The guy literally came in on a helicopter, we see him in a glass vat, or a glass machine or whatever, because he apparently had an old decrepit guy who was basically on the ends of his life. And then he just comes and takes the sacred cards, and then he duels Jaden with them. And so, they were so strong that apparently, that because of this duel, all of Yu-Gi-Oh was at stake. Like, literally, during this duel, the cards around the world were just being erased, cleared off because of them. Because the sacred beasts apparently were like, what were the sacred beasts about again?
What do you mean?
Like, why were they calling this stuff to happen?
Because they're corrosive entities.
Okay, yeah, but more or less. The Sacred Beasts were sealed for a reason because they're just or existence themselves or just being corrosive to the world. So, and Jaden was on his rope then until he literally used a card from his teacher / enemy, who was also now a spirit ball living in his cat because the cat just keeps eating him. I feel like I should have skipped that. I should have explained that part.
Yeah, tell him who Amnail is, please.
Okay, so Amnail, because I don't remember the English name.
His name is Banner in English, and in Japanese he's Daitokuji. The name Amnail is in both dubs.
Anyway, Banner, Amnail, whatever. He was introduced as like a teacher in Duels Academy. He was basically one of Jaden's closest confidants there. So later on in the review, he's actually one of the bad guys. He was one of the 7 stars. What now?
He wasn't a bad guy. He was infiltrating them.
I was getting to that part.
Okay.
Anyways, he worked with the 7 stars, and he had a key, and he had to do against. He demanded Jaden to do against him, which he did, and it wasn't easy because Banner was using Helios deck, and a picture he had Macrocosm too.
Yes. Also,
yeah, so
Chaos Distill is finally getting printed this year. It took 20 years, but we're finally getting it.
Yes, it is. Anyways, the thing is, after Jaden is able to beat him because we see the first time with Elemental Hero Electria. That was the first time he came up, right?
Electrum? Yeah.
Yeah. Jaden summoned basically what was considered at the time the king of Elemental Heroes. Just because it was before Neos.
It's so weird that he gets his ace after like 50 episodes.
Yeah. He was to defeat Banner, and Banner revealed that he was infiltrating the 7 stars. He was like a double agent. And he gave Jaden a card that he'd use before he seemingly lost his physical body. What was that about again? How did he become like a spirit?
So the thing is that Daitakuchi Sensei already died. He put his soul inside of a homunculus, and that homunculus kept breaking, so he kept making clones. He infiltrated the Sacred Beast because he himself also wanted the Sacred Beast for infinite life. Because one of the things about those, I guess, beasts is that they grant the owner eternal youth. So while he was still on the good guy's side, he was infiltrating in order to make sure that Judah had the power to defeat Kagemaru. He also did become somewhat corrupted, and why he needed to be stopped at the end. The reason he became dust is because his time had run out and the homunculus was set to be destroyed. So whether or not he won or lost, he still would have died.
Right. Anyways, then his spirit was eaten, but then his spirit was then eaten by his cat.
Yes.
And in the final battle, Jaden was able to remember him and use the card he gave him to give him the win to go against Kagemaru. Which basically restored balance to the world and brought the cards back. The Sacred Beast once again sealed, and Kagemaru was redeemed. Get used to a trend here the first 2 seasons.
I will say this. So, 2 villains in season 3 aren't really redeemed, and as a matter of fact, there's a moment in season 4 where they're kind of hold a grudge against Judai because of who he decided to forgive.
Well, that makes sense, but you'll get to that because season 2, I'm gonna be honest, season 2 I don't remember much. I know it's sad for me, but it's been a while. The thing I know about season 2 is that Jaden is he's like the only one in Cypher Red now.
That's season 4.
Okay, now never mind. But Cyrus he's now moved to Raw Yellow.
Yes,
Crowley is now the head. Crowley now the headmaster.
Hmm.
He has this weird French. He has this French sidekick.
So
I think he's French.
He becomes a vice chancellor, Kronos, and he gets the other vice chancellor, Napoleon Bonaparte. Yes, that's his name. The reason Kronos acted as the chancellor is because Samejima was on sabbatical.
Right. Anyway, season 2 kind of started off seemingly well. It was starting off got some more episodic anime episodes. We were introduced to, I forgot the name, the guy with the T-Rex cards.
Kenzan.
Huh?
Kenzan.
Kenzan, right? Him.
Oh, Hasselberry in English dub to make it easier for you.
Right, Hasselberry. Introduced to him, he was a pretty cool guy. He had some cool cards. Dinosaurs at the time were one of my favorite archetypes. So it was cool seeing him use that. Then there was like an episode where Alexis dueled her brother because what was the whole point again? It was a weird one. To get her to be an idol.
No, he wanted her to leave school so that they can be on a tour together.
Right. So they that's what they do it about. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember much about season 2 sadly, but I do remember where we introduced to Aster, what was the name?
Aster Phoenix, Edo Phoenix, and JP.
Yeah, we were introduced to Aster Phoenix when he went up against the duel against Zane, who at this point was graduated. So Kaiser and Aster. What? Go
That's
ahead.
not his first introduction. First, he duels against Judai.
No. He went up against Kaiser first, and then.
No,
Jaden.
He duels Judai, he loses. He then goes against Kaiser, he wins. He then rematches Judai, and then Edo wins.
Okay. See, this is why I don't remember much. And then we watched GX at some point.
It's a really good 180 episode show.
Miguel will explain this up better, but basically what I'm trying to say is, while it's clear I don't remember much, sadly, I did overall enjoy GX still. I still had some good time with the episodes I do remember. I did remember liking a lot of the duels and some emotional moments. And then when I found out about the missing season 4 in the English dub, Miguel showed me a few episodes in season 4, and holy crud, things take a massive change.
I still want to know how the English dub would have done that season.
Well, that's basically all I can say and I remember. So Miguel will probably talk about the season 2.
You haven't even finished season 2, dude.
I don't remember much. Okay.
That one. That's season 2.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Basically, one more thing about Aster. When he first went up against Judai, he used a deck. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't Elemental Hero. I know that. At least I think sure it wasn't the first time. When he went up against Zane, that's when he started using Elemental Heroes and when he crushed him with Phoenix and Forcer. And that Zane was kind of on the downward spiral. But then when he went up against Jaden was actually doing good. He was able to defeat his Phoenix Enforcer. But that's when things took a change. And then after brought out his real deck, the Destiny Heroes. Oh, real deck, I meant his real card because they were still using the same deck. Anyways, he was able to use Destiny Heroes to defeat Jaden. And because of some magic stuff with the guy he was being helped with, Jaden could just no longer duel. Like, he was unable to duel at all. Right? He couldn't even see the cards?
Correct. He couldn't read.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing with Jaden just being in a downward spiral, being depressed. And then, later on, he actually his friends find him missing from the school. Don't know where he is, because later on, Jaden goes into like a whole... What was that? The spirit world?
No, he goes to space.
The straight up space.
He encounters a bright light, and it takes him to a different planet in space.
Yes, doesn't remember now. Jaden does go to space, but it was through there with his experience that he was able to remember things that were locked in his past, things he couldn't remember now. Jaden actually made some cards of his own. Some original monsters that were then sent into space for reasons that will be explained later. Miguel will get into that. Basically, you know what I'm talking about. You know that season 3.
I know.
Anyways, he was able to find these cards and through some magic or whatever, these drawn cards became real. And thus was born the Neo Space cards. Also with some other cards like Dandelion and I think Card Trooper too.
No, Card Trooper he got from the store.
Okay, yeah, but he didn't make Dandelion.
Yes, he did make Dandelion.
But yeah, basically the main thing here was, of course, the Neo Space, and then Elemental Hero Neos, his true ace. And this is where we got what was basically become Bleeding's signature card and his signature way of dueling, Contact of Fusion, which was just broken fusion. No spells required. No spells required. Just have 2 cards on the field, and boom, Contact Fusion. It was pretty epic. And again, don't remember season 2, but I do remember this. I do remember that the final enemy they faced, he was basically using an Arcana deck, and you had to see this duel in Japanese. You could not see it any other way, all because of who he's voiced by. Okay, you can tell I don't remember his name. What was his name again?
Sayo is the name of the character.
Yes, I'm the character. Sayo was voiced by the same voice actor as Dio from JoJo. Why is that important? Because he literally summoned a card called Arcana 13, Zawardo.
Thought it was 21.
Sorry, Arcana 21, Zawardo. And yes, people have already made that meme of the joke connection a lot. No, he just said it regularly in the show, but when you face him in Duel Links, he goes all Dio when he says it. He literally says it like Dio. But in the regular show, he just summoned it. And this is really all I remember. I don't remember what his motives were, what else he did. This is where you come in now.
Okay, so just to fill in some gaps that were left behind, Kaiser gets into underground matches, and that's where he becomes Hell Kaiser after constantly losing. The reason that Sayo did what he did is because he was possessed by an alien that wanted to use a laser to kill humanity. You're gonna see this plot point many times in the series as a whole.
Yeah.
You also skipped Duel Monsters vs. GX arc, so we got to see Sugoroku come back for an episode. They recap some stuff from the original Yu-Gi-Oh as well, just for, the long-time fans. I think that's for them. And we also get to see them duel against the Monarchs, the Dark Creator, which was a really cool deck that we still don't have, by the way. Because that deck fundamentally breaks the rules of the game. It gives you 5 extra monster zones. I have no idea how you would balance that.
Wasn't that also a thing back during the Duel Monsters with Orichalcos?
Well, the difference is that the Orichalcos allowed you to use your spell and trap zones as monster zones. Dark Creator gave you 5 extra zones in general. So I don't think they could print that as it was in the show without breaking the fundamentals of the game.
I see your point.
But it is a cool idea. We got to see Kenzan and Shul go up against Zaborg and Mobius. In the English dub, we have one of the funniest lines where the guy sacrifices himself to become Pot of Greed, and the guy draws into Pot of Greed.
Oh.
That was a funny line. And in addition, we get to see Judai and Edo team up to fight the creator. So that's the skipped content. Also, the fact that the reason that Edo uses the Destiny Hero cards is because his dad created them, and there was a time where someone broke into their house and Edo's dad died. Or kidnapped in the English dub, my apologies.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Get Dark. Of
course. And quick correction, Judai drew the Neos cards, but he didn't create them. They telepathically sent messages to Judai to draw the cards and then submit them to Kaiba's competition, which allowed them to interact with the real world. Yeah. Okay, Season 3. Time for the good stuff. So first, Sho becomes an Obelisk Blue, finally, right?
Yeah.
In addition, we get introduced to some of the cooler characters like O'Brien, Amon, Johan, Professor Kobura, or Viper in English. And the first beginning is the reveal that there is someone who has been watching the entire time. That's Yubel. Now, we're gonna get into Yubel later, but let's just say that Yubel is a very unique character. I don't think there's a lot of media with characters like her. And we get the beginning opening match, which is July versus Johan. Johan is using the the Crystal Beast. However, at this point in time, Pegasus has not created the Rainbow Dragon card. Oh yeah, spoiler for you manga readers, Pegasus doesn't die in the anime. And...
yeah.
Yeah. So they duel, and July absolutely swamps this guy. I don't know why the duel took so long, but it happens, right? And so they start creating a use for this technology called the Bioband. The Bioband is something that they put around the arm of the duelist, which absorbs their energy at the end of each match in order to feed Yubel that energy. Why does Cobra want to do this? Is so that he can revive his son. Because Yubel promised Cobra that if you help me regain my true form, I will revive your son. Lo and behold, this is a complete lie. Okay, Yubel is evil. So, I just realized you also skipped the GX tournament. Lo and behold, Manjoma Jun wins the GX tournament after Judai frees him from the clutches of Sayo. And also, this is also the same tournament where Mistress of the Time Goddess gets an additional appearance. First, the last time we saw that card was in DM, which is a broken card. It just says skip the opponent's turn. Could you imagine if that was real?
It'd be banned immediately.
If it auto-include 3-up, it would be $150 each copy, and then it get banned after a format.
Yep.
Because that cannot be allowed. Anyhow. So, that occurs, and then at this point, everybody, specifically O'Brien, wants a shot at Jaden, just because they're saying, if I can beat him, my Bioband will get stronger. Which is their idea. However, O'Brien realizes that something is up. This cannot be right. There's no shot you pass out after playing a card game. And I agree. So he starts doing some investigating into the biobands. And Amon is also suspicious, so he calls up his girl, Ekko, to investigate the biobands as well. O'Brien kidnaps Sho to force July into a duel. July wins. And then Kenzan duels Jim Crocodile Cook, which is a crazy name, by the way.
Jim Crocodile Crook, wow.
Who has his pet alligator called Shirley. I'm gonna use the dub names because that's a funny name.
Alright.
And they realize that there's a signal that the biobands are transmitting after they found out through Kenzan's dinosaur DNA that something is absorbing their energy. Meanwhile...
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Hasaberry has dinosaur DNA.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sho just decides to start grinding points for his application. And it works pretty well. He actually gets a lot of wins because he's finally in blue, he's finally confident. Now, I will say at the beginning of the season, he was hiding from everybody. But it all worked out well in the end. So, July, Johan, O'Brien, Jim, and a few other students decide to go into... I just realized we skipped Professor Eisenstein, we skipped Misawa dueling Jun for the third time. But let's just continue where we were. They discover Professor Cobra's lair, and they fight through a lot of adjunct professors, specifically one who wanted to test the potential of July. And let's just say that July absolutely pwns this guy, he stands no chance. And also, Johan has to go up against another person using the Crystal Beast. I keep wanting to say Sacred Beast for some reason. And it works pretty well. They make it to Professor Cobra, and Cobra says, "Alright, the person I've been feeding energy to is almost complete, and very soon my son will come back." Again, this is a complete lie. So, July steps up to duel Professor Cobra. And Cobra is using the Venomenaga deck. A deck that has a really powerful boss monster, but it's a very bad deck as a whole. I guess that's a way of balancing it. If you allow Venomenaga to be summoned, you deserve to lose.
Isn't that the deck where literally if she summons, you win?
If she attacks 3 times, you win.
Oh.
And also, she needs to stay on the board the entire time.
So she can't, like, be summoned, be destroyed, won't be summoned again, and get the last 2 ones?
No, she would need to get 3 more additional attacks.
Okay.
Because game balance is a pain, right?
Yep.
Anyhow, Judai wins the duel, And so Yubel does the most evil thing ever. She tricks Cobra into thinking that her son is there, and because Cobra is so happy and he's hypnotized, he walks off the stage and falls to his death.
Damn.
A few days pass, and they are teleported into the spirit world, but this is a different section of the spirit world. This isn't the spirit world that we see in DM, and this is not the spirit world that we see in 5Ds. This is a different area completely. And all of Duel Academia is there. And the problem is that Yubel has, at this point, possessed Marty, who is... It was either the nephew or the son of Bonaparte. I don't remember which one it was. And Marty is now possessed by Yubel. Yubel's current goal is unknown. We, the audience, know because we've been here forever, but nobody knows what Yubel wants to do. So Yubel creates the dual ghouls. And through the dual ghouls, she starts assimilating students onto her side. And a few people are immune to this. For example, Judai is immune. And to my knowledge, Johan is also immune. But the other duelists do get possessed because they don't have a resistance to it. I don't remember why Manjome wasn't immune, because he can see spirits, but he gets possessed as well. And the goal of this right now is because Marty wants to obtain the 3 Sacred Beasts. Because it turns out Marty's strategy of Exodia Turbo is not cutting it. Amon, however, wants the Exodia cards, so he makes a deal with Yubel and says, Yubel, give me the Exodia cards and I'll defeat Judai. And Yubel says, beat Judai first and then we'll talk. Judai and Johan team up, now that Pegasus has given him the Rainbow Dragon, to fight Marty. Marty has the 3 Sacred Beasts, and we don't actually get a conclusion to this duel. All that happens is Rainbow Dragon activates its effect to shuffle all cards on the field into the deck, and that opens a portal, allowing everybody except for Johan and Marty to escape.
Interesting.
Judai, feeling bad for leaving Johan there to basically die alone, decides to go back into the spirit world by himself. However, his friends follow him and they get sucked in as well. So they're back in the spirit world, but this time there's no dual goal situation. Now there's a different condition here. In this part of the world, instead of becoming corrupted and turning into a dual ghoul, you would become disintegrated and be sent to hell. Well, the exact wording is, we're in a place that is like hell. But for the intention, we're just going to say they're in hell.
Right.
Anyhow.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, to make it easier. Judai then duels up against Morg, whose entire game plan is to lock him out of his deck. But because he sends Necro Darkman to grave, he's able to normal summon Neos without a tribute, and attack over for damage. He then finds out that there are these people hunting villagers to send them to the stars in the English dub, so that they can power up a very, very broken card called Super Fusion, or Super Polymerization in the dub.
Yep.
Judai, not wanting a part of any of this, says, okay, I'm gonna go stop them. But Asuka says, Judai, did you even know that if you lost, you would have died? And Judai said, no, but it's okay, I won't lose. And everyone says, Judai, you're not invincible, you have to take care of yourself. But Judai doesn't listen, so he leaves everyone behind. And this is one of the many mistakes that Judai makes that causes everyone to suffer. Judai eventually encounters Braun of Dark World, and they have their little match, but it turns out that off-screen, Braun's goons kidnapped Kenzan, Asuka, Fubuki, and Manjome. They were trying to find Sho as well, but they were unable to find him. Which is weird, because Sho was in the Colosseum with them, but, let's ignore that for a second.
Yeah.
Judai duels Braun. However, every time Braun takes damage, one of Judai's friends gets sacrificed for a Super Poly. And so, in the span of 2 turns, Judai allowed 4 people to get killed. Not intentionally, mind you, but I can imagine that would hurt someone mentally. So,
and I thought summoning the Earthbound Immortal was bad.
Yeah. For some reason, however, Braun decides, you know what? I don't need the last sacrifice. I'm gonna attempt to get Super Poly. This fails. But Judai, not caring about the ritual anymore, decides to just OTK him with Neos. Then it goes to grave, then he revives Neos, then he attacks, and then he uses a trap card to give Neos more power, and that defeats Braun, which causes him to die, but it also releases the Supreme King, How. And it also releases Super Poly. However, now it has a cost. Instead of just saying fuse 2 monsters on the field or more, you can't chain to it, whatever, it has a cost now. You have to discard a card to make up for the fact that it's missing one of the souls. Which is pretty cool. Judai becomes the Supreme King. Sho is left wandering around, and he encounters both Edo and Hell Kaiser. Hell Kaiser and Edo decide to start taking down a bunch of the forces of the Hao. And lo and behold, Jim decides to confront Hao directly. Hao absolutely decimates him with the Evil Hero cards, Evil Hero Dark Gaia. Are you okay?
Yeah, to here.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
You're okay, right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry.
Okay, no worry. I was just worried about you. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. So Hao wins, and it was a pretty close win, actually. He only won with, I think, 50 life left. So
Wow.
it was pretty close. But O'Brien watches how Jim gets disintegrated and becomes paralyzed with fear and starts hiding. It isn't until Sho, as well as some spirits and Ojama Yellow, snap him back into his senses and say, no, you need to defeat Hao and save Judai. Because at the current moment, they think that Judai is being held prisoner somewhere. They don't actually know that Hao is Judai. O'Brien, realizing that this is an issue, is conflicted, but he does ultimately go into the castle to launch an attack against Hao. They have a cool duel, and then it ends in a tie, which causes O'Brien to go away and Hao to be locked inside of Judai again. So now Judai is free, but now he has PTSD because he realizes that a lot of people died.
Right.
So he spends a while trying to duel without using Poly, but this is a mistake because his deck revolves around Poly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But he does pull it off a few times, but then he encounters Kaiser, and Kaiser says, no, don't do that, that's stupid. So, at this point, Edo realizes that Amon is gone and no one knows where Amon went. But it turns out that Amon made a deal with Yubel to get the Exodia cards. The only issue is, in order to get the last Exodia card, the Exodia head, he needs to sacrifice Echo. However, the precursor to Thanos appears because he doesn't want to sacrifice Echo, but at the same time he says, I need Exodia to take over the world and make it a perfect world with no wars and all peace. So he sacrifices Echo. Echo willingly sacrifices herself to do this, and he gets the last Exodia piece. He duels against Edo, and he defeats him with Exodia. Judai says, how could you do that? How could you be so heartless? And he doesn't want to, but he says to Judai, are you any better? Judai, unable to retort because, well, he's not.
Yeah.
Allows Amon to walk away. Judai then has a match against Hell Kaiser, but it gets abruptly ended because they find out that somebody is opening a door. Johan, but possessed by Yubel. It turns out that this is exactly what Hell Kaiser wanted. He wanted to be the one to best Hao, but since Hao was forced into a draw by O'Brien, he was unable to test his might. Yubel and Kaiser duel. It's a super cool duel. I recommend you watch it because I cannot do that match justice. But it ends in the middle of the duel with Hell Kaiser suffering from a heart attack. Yubel says, Judai, wait out here. I have something to take care of, but then when I come back, I will be at my full strength to go fight you. But it turns out Amon took the Nightmare Throne from Yubel, so Yubel has to fight Amon for the throne again. And which Yubel absolutely decimates him, not because Amon was a bad player, but because it turns out that even though Amon had no darkness in his heart, which is crazy considering he sacrificed his girl like that, Echo had darkness in her heart, and Yubel was able to exploit it, causing Amon to lose. And so Amon fails his strategy, and Exodia is gone. This also, for some reason, feeds Yubel. I don't understand why it feeds Yubel, it's been a while. But Yubel is now ready to go up against Judai. So Judai and Johan go against each other, and the goal of Yubel was not to defeat Judai, because it turns out she could have beat him on turn 2, or 3, I don't remember which turn, but she could have beaten him really easily. The goal was to steal Super Poly, so she waited for Judai to activate Super Poly, and then she used the trap card to take Super Poly from Judai's graveyard into her hand, and then she abruptly ends the duel right there to steal the Super Poly and then runs away, which liberates Johan. Johan catches up with Sho, and Kronos finally catches up with them as well, to go talk about what's going to happen. But before that, Johan gives Judai the Rainbow Dragon, because he knows somehow that Judai has Rainbow Neos in his deck. I don't know how he knows that, but he does. So they team up by giving him the card. He duels against Yubel, whose deck is by no means comparable to the 2024 version of full power Yubel Fiendsmith. That was a crazy deck by comparison, but you know, the original version is not a bad deck for the anime standards either. Yubel's strategy is to use Super Poly with 12 materials to summon Super Fusion God. Now, how they're going to do that in an era before the extra monster zone, God knows, but that's her plan.
You make code himself?
No, that's Judai's plan.
I have no idea.
Judai... Okay, the answer is through a trap card called Chain Energy, but that's getting into semantics. Judai then realizes that he can't actually defeat Yubel, so he does the next best thing. He activates Super Poly because he gets it back in order to fuse himself with Yubel. He says, goodbye, Sho. I'm gonna be gone for a while. Because it turns out that while they're gone, Judai and Yubel are in the spirit world taking down the Light of Destruction. They're just, you know, doing gangbusters. Everyone else goes back home. Everyone else goes back home, which is the end of Season 3 in the English dub. But Judai is gone. Season 3 last episode is everyone reminiscing about the fact that Judai is gone and thinking about the adventure as the story had progressed. At the end of the episode, Judai descends from space through a meteor and lands on Earth and says, Sho, do we have fried shrimp?
Of
course, right? He just saved the universe from the Light of Destruction, came back from space, said hi to his buddy and said, is it fried shrimp night? And that's the end of Season 3. We're going to call it here. We'll talk about Season 4 at a later date because my friend David here looks exhausted.
Do I?
Do you want me to continue?
Yeah. No, we'll continue that because I'm just being silent for the whole time.
No problem.
I'll continue later.
Yes, so that's the end of Season 3, everybody. Have a nice day. David, any last things to say to the audience?
Thank you all for watching this, and hopefully I can do something better now. Now, the luck of the sleeves are on my side now.
The luck of the sleeves? Oh, were you sleeving your cards the whole time?
Yeah, I was putting over sleeves on them.
Good.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you all for watching.